Speaker Nancy Pelosi spent the day and part of the evening in talks with the White House. But even if they reach a deal, we are learning tonight Republican Senate leadership is pushing the president to wait until after the election to make a deal with Democrats. Tonight, CBS News sources say Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is urging the White House not to make a deal on a COVID stimulus package with Democrats. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi spent the day and evening negotiating with White House representatives and reportedly believes progress was made.
I'm optimistic because I do think we have a shared value. Not many, but a shared value that finally is they want to crush the virus.
But now it's not even clear if Speaker Pelosi and the White House reach an agreement whether Senate Republicans will be on board. Far away from the negotiating table, President Trump was in Pennsylvania tonight for another campaign rally, once again ignoring medical guidelines, gathering a large, packed-in crowd as coronavirus cases continue to rise across the country. Mr. Trump repeated this false claim about the virus and its spread.
We're rounding the turn on the pandemic, 56%, and it's a record, epic job growth, safe vaccines that quickly end the pandemic. It's ending.
Conspicuously absent tonight, First Lady Melania Trump, who was supposed to join the president on the campaign trail for a rare appearance, but a persistent cough from her COVID infection kept her at home. After a narrow victory in Pennsylvania in 2016, the president is trailing here in a tight race and is also down or tied in every major battleground state he won in 2016.
Biden is shot. You know he's shot, right? He's gonzo.
With just 2 weeks to go, Mr. Trump is trying to take Mr. Biden down any way he can, telling crowds Biden will take their jobs, their guns, and that he's mentally unfit and a criminal, even calling on his own attorney general to investigate the Biden family.
And as far as I'm concerned, the Biden family is a criminal enterprise.
But it's unclear if the attacks are sticking or that the Biden team is terribly concerned.
The words of a president matter. No matter how good or bad that president is, they matter.
The former vice president is not scheduled to be seen publicly again until Thursday night's presidential debate in Nashville. That, too, is under attack from the president, who criticized the decision by the debate organizers to limit interruptions by muting the candidates' mics, put in place after the president frequently spoke over Biden in the first debate.
Yeah, we're going to make sure our vote counts.
Early voting records across the country are also making the White House nervous. They could signal heavy turnout overall, which is typically bad news for the incumbent.
Because I know it's going to be an excellent turnout, and it's about time.
I'd rather get it done and over with and do it early. That way I know I've voted.
On the first day of early in-person voting in the critical battleground state of Wisconsin, voters waited 4 hours in a state where COVID is surging. Across the country, there are similar scenes, but voters say the wait is worth it.
If you don't come and do it, you don't have a right to complain. Come and voice your opinion. That's what America's about.
And according to the U.S. Elections Project, more than 37 million Americans have already voted. That's already more than a quarter of the total vote of the 2016 election. Remember, Election Day, the final day of voting, is 2 weeks from tonight. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Tom Waite.